All right, joining me now, Jane Marwick, Sky News contributor and, of course, host of the Jane Marwick podcast. Jane, great to see you tonight. We're going to get onto Harry and Meghan at some point, but I want you to take us through what's happening in WA at the moment with the hotel quarantine app that they're rolling out. There's no necessity now, correct me if I'm wrong, for hotel quarantine. What's McGowan up to, the latest?
Look, Peter, I saw all the bells and whistles, but as usual, the devil is in the detail. What we've got is a thing called a G2G pass, and you download that on your phone. It's an app. It's a good-to-go pass. We've had it for some time. What it means is if you're coming from Victoria and New South Wales now, like other states and territories, you've still got to get through. You've still got to get the exemption. And again, this is very, very arbitrary, Peter. I still can't work out who gets one and who doesn't get one and why. My research shows me it just depends which police officer's desk it lands on, and I'll have more to reveal about that in coming weeks. Suffice to say, if you get the exemption and you have a place where you can quarantine, you know, a house where you can remain separated from the other inhabitants in that home, you can use this G2G pass. They've just updated the app, so it's got facial recognition technology on, which I feel squeamish about. But look, so many civil liberties have been traded away with COVID-19. I suppose that you would say, yes, I want to come to WA and see my grandmother or my family, and I finally get an exemption, I'm coming over. So it just means that if you have the wherewithal, you can quarantine in a home for 14 days. They'll check up on you via this G2G app, Peter. It will minimise police contact, police resources. They won't have to go around and knock on your door. Not to say that they won't check up on people. So it's a baby step, but it doesn't mean the border's open by any stretch of the imagination.
What about this shearer shortage? What's going on there? Yeah. So interestingly, now you're watching us on Win, Sky Win, so you're in the regions, so you know that shearing teams move around the country, and shearing teams often come in from New Zealand. And I won't say exactly where, but in farms in Western Australia, there are farmers who need to get their sheep shorn. We're talking thousands of sheep. And what they're saying to me is there's a problem with fly strike. So sheep get fly blown. A fly literally lays maggots, I'm sorry to say it, into the sheep. And if you're a farmer or anyone from the land and you've seen a fly-blown sheep, it's an absolutely horrible thing. So the farmers don't want to talk about it too much, because then they know that they'll have all the animal activists up in arms saying, oh, you cruel people. But the problem is, with the border, let's not forget the McGowan government would not sign up to the agricultural code that David Littleproud proposed, where you could have bubbles so agricultural workers could move around the states like teams of shearers. So these guys, men and women, are waiting to get teams of shearers in. In the meantime, their sheep are getting struck by blowflies. They need to be shorn, they need to be dealt with. And, you know, these are the issues that happen in the country that, you know, we've got our Minister for Agriculture, Alana McTiernan, who's an animal activist who hates live exports and all those sorts of things. I mean, is she talking to farmers? Does she understand that we need agricultural workers? Yes, the fruit growers and fruit pickers get a lot of publicity. The lettuces that got ploughed in, we talked about that. They're all enormous issues for growers, but so too are getting teams of shearers across the border to get the job done, Peter. All right, Harry and Meghan. Now, they fled the UK and went to America because... Meghan, whatever.
Get it right.
Derby. Get it right. Okay, so they flee the UK because they're worried about the press intrusion with little Archie. They go to Hollywood. Now they've signed a big deal with Netflix for a sort of a reality TV show. They're in trouble because a big survey in the UK, a staggering number of Brits want Harry and Meghan stripped of their royal title. And of course, you had that terrible video the other day where they basically violated the Megxit deal because they got up and had a crack at Trump. What's going on?
Oh, I think we're seeing Meghan's true form here. Poor Harry. Like, I would say that you, me and everybody watching this show has cut Prince Harry a lot of slack. And those of us who are older and parents, maybe grandparents, you see the Queen, You say, she knows that poor little boy. None of us can wipe from our minds the image of that dear little boy following his mother's casket, the wreath and mummy written on that casket. So we've all wanted the best for Harry, but he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and that's become abundantly clear. Meghan, on the other hand, is incredibly street smart, and what Meghan says goes. So now we're seeing Meghan's true form. I think what's really interesting, and you know when she played the race card and her friends were leaking that the Brits were racist, I mean, let's just go back and have a look at the delight in the United Kingdom when the engagement was announced, the fanfare, the people who turned out in their tens of thousands to cheer that bride and groom. I mean, she wants to have a cake and eat it too. Celia Waldron from The Telegraph, who's married to Piers Waldron, Morgan. Yeah. Has called them the Kardashians. She says, this, after all, is the couple whose public wrangle with the Queen over the term the Sussex royal brand to flog their wares abroad had me lunging for the sanitiser. So grubby did the wording of their statement make one feel. This is the couple who decided to announce their new endeavour, Archie Well, in the midst of a global pandemic, and a woman who halfway through a documentary to raise awareness for war-scarred South Africans saw fit to wonder aloud why not many people have asked if I'm okay. We're seeing the true nature of Meghan. I think they want to be the Obamas, they want to be the Netflix stars, reality TV stars, although they've had their spokespeople, Pete, come out and say, oh, no, they're not going to be on camera. But Meghan didn't like playing second fiddle to Kate. She doesn't understand how the royal family works, that there is a pecking order. There is a pecking order, and she wasn't first cab off the rank, and they agreed with the Queen. They might even lose their HRH titles, you know, if they continue to misbehave, and they should not be going out. Yeah, they shouldn't be going out and telling people, you know, to vote, and, you know, they need to keep out of politics.
A particular way.
You know, they won't, yeah.
All right, we've got 60 seconds, Jane. What's going on with these bushfires in the Stirling Ranges?
We had bushfires in the Stirling Ranges at the start of the year. Friends of mine, and we might have some Instagram pictures we can put up, those ranges were absolutely devastated, and we are now seeing regeneration. And I just wanted to leave us with some hope. And if you had bushfires, if you're watching us in Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, I covered those bushfires on the radio all through summer. There are now beautiful wildflowers coming back. The Australian bush regenerates, and I think, you know, it just shows us there's a lot of bad news around and we wring our hands about things, but people who are out in bushland at the moment are telling me that they're seeing positives and regeneration. So that's a sign of hope, Pete.
It is indeed. Jane Marwick, great to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.